The Fujifilm X-M5. So this camera is very interesting, and for me, it's pretty problematic. I didn't like this camera when it got announced. Truth be told, I still bought it. I still bought it with my own money, and I bought it for a very specific reason. And I'm going to share those reasons with you, and I'm also going to share the reasons of why I don't like this camera and what it signals from Fujifilm. But before we get to it, I wanted to thank today's video sponsor, Squarespace. I've actually been using Squarespace for over 10 years. Their templates and easy-to-use interface make it incredibly simple to create and maintain a professional-looking website without any coding experience necessary. My Squarespace website was an essential part of how I built my photography business. It allowed me to showcase my portfolio, share recent work on my blog, and also receive inquiries from potential clients through my contact form. If you're one of those photographers relying on your Instagram profile as the sole place to share your work and build your photography business, I would really consider making a website on Squarespace. You can visit squarespace.com/Ballesteros to start a free trial and get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Thanks again to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. So when this camera got announced and I saw what it is and what it represents, I got pretty angry, and for a very specific reason, and I'm going to show you. So if you see these two cameras side by side, this is the Fujifilm X70, one of my favorite cameras of all time. And this is the XM5. And based on the size, it told me one thing, that Fujifilm could have made the X80, the successor to the X70, whatever you want to call it. And they chose not to make it. They chose to skimp out and make something that wasn't, a professional quality and aim more toward kind of like the budget oriented tier, which is, I get it. The budget beginners need a camera to start with, but I was very angry that they didn't do it, because the XM5 does not have a lot of things that the X70 does. And a lot of people are trying to compare this camera, the XM5, to the X70 or the Ricoh GR3. And first of all, the X70 has a flash right here, a built-in flash. It also has a leaf shutter, so that means you can shoot with a very silent shutter, and also you can shoot flash at a lot higher than traditional sync speeds. It has the shutter speed dial. The tilt screen also comes out this way as opposed to coming out to the side and here, which makes it is not intuitive, I think, for photography. It's more intuitive for video. So, they're making a statement too that this is mainly a video camera, right? I'm not a big fan of the film simulation dial at all. Like, I just leave it on C because I set the C1 through C4 on this camera to have a film simulation. And honestly, even if you're a fan of it, I'm happy for you. I think this is the most stupidest dial they've ever made. Fujifilm, you should have just made this into like a function dial similar to the XS10, and you could still have the aesthetic, but I don't agree with this dial at all. When you put an 18mm Voigtlander lens or the 27, it gets pretty close to the X70 with a hood on. So it's close, right? And they just chose not to make it. And I think another thing that makes me angry is that this is pretty much the XE4. It has the XE4 sensor. The XE4 actually released similar to this price when it was released, but they took out the EVF, and this is the camera that we got, right? I don't like any of these things about specifically showing the direction that Fujifilm wants to go. I'm not a fan of that, but I still bought it, right? So you're like, Reggie, why did you buy this camera? I'm going to explain. So there are some things that I do like about this camera. The one thing that you can see that's different between this and the X70 is that it has a threaded shutter. So I can get my purple shutter back, which is what I have on all my cameras, my X100V and my X106 and my X-T5. I have this purple shutter, and you can add a little cool hot shoe thing. And I do have external flashes, so that's fine. I will say that I actually don't plan to use this camera specifically for stills. I have a specific reason why I bought this camera. It's because I spec'd out a specific parameter set that I needed for an upcoming trip that I have to Disneyland. So the first thing I wanted this to be a dedicated video camera. I wanted to bring my XS20, but it's still a little bit too big, and I like the image quality from the XS20, and the cool thing is this has the same sensor as the XS20. XS20. It doesn't have IBIS, which is okay. It can shoot f-log 2 and it can do the 6.2 open gate. I know what to expect and I know the image quality to expect because I've shot with the XC4, I've shot with the X100V, and I shot with the XS20, which all have the same sensor. And so I know the stills and the video performance of this camera. The next thing I wanted was I needed it to be small enough to fit in my Moment 4-liter, what's it called? Everyday sling? I think that's what it's called. My Moment 4-liter sling bag. That's the requirement. So this needed to fit in there and I needed it to have an 18mm focal length because my plan is that I'm going to carry both my GR3 and my GR3X on this trip, and then I needed one camera for video, and I wanted the camera for video to have a wider focal length because I tried shooting at Disneyland with 27 and it was just a little bit too tight when I was shooting with the 27 2.8. So I got the Voigtlander Color Scope Bar 18mm 2.8 and it has silver, so it looks pretty cool. And it has this like focus tab on the bottom. I will say though, it's not the most intuitive with this particular camera to shoot without an EVF and try to manual focus for stills. For video though, on the other end, it's fine. Like you can shoot video and then you can focus here, like that works out. And I have the Ethereal Earth 1/4 ethereal filter to get the halation that I usually like. So here, this is my little video setup and it's very small, especially in comparison to the XS20. And I think I said that the next reason, which I already covered, is that this camera allows me to have my purple shutter. That was like a requirement. It's a dumb requirement, but you know, for me, I'm all about self-expression at this point. I have a lot of pins on my bag. I want the purple shutter. That's just part of the requirement for me to have a fun video camera is I wanted my purple shutter back, which the XS20 does not allow me to. The last reason why I picked up this camera specifically is for the business strategy of my channel. I feel like I want to put this channel into a different direction, similar to, I think it was called Camera Conspiracies, where he was looking for like the perfect vlog camera. I think for me, my journey is really to find like the perfect everyday camera. Ideally, that would be something that's hybrid, right? For photo and video. I feel like the Ricoh GR cameras are the perfect cameras for, you know, photocentric, especially something that goes in your, fits in your jean pocket. The X70 is probably the smallest compact camera that has a built-in flash and film simulations and actually like a photo-oriented tilt screen. The X106 is probably one of the best hybrid video cameras and photo video cameras that are out there right now, but you're locked into that focal length. So this seems like it's going to be the perfect everyday camera for somebody that wants to be able to change lenses, but obviously it's going to be limited by the lenses. Like if you put a larger lens, it just negates that size automatically. But again, I don't plan to use it for stills. If you saw me on Threads saying I don't like the camera, I still don't like the camera, but you know, maybe it's gonna grow on me for video. For stills, I can already say that I don't really like it too much for stills. The ergonomics are just too cramped. It's hard to press this button and this button, and I have very small hands. So if you're anywhere bigger than 5'4", this is gonna be a really hard camera to use unless you're like a little kid. And then just like being able to pull this screen out for low angle shots, like I don't like that. And I found this quirk, Fujifilm, on every camera that I have, every Fujifilm camera that I have, with the Voigtlander lenses, which have a chip in it, gonna punch into manual focus. Then usually on every Fujifilm camera, if I half press, it backs out, but this camera does not do that. So I found this bug, Fujifilm. If you can fix this so that when you half press, it backs out into here. I have to set this to focus check right now so I can press this button, and I don't like it. But like if I could punch in here and back out and then check my composition, that would raise my review of this camera like at least 1 full star out of 5. So please fix that. Otherwise, it's a very annoying bug that is not consistent on any of the other Fujifilm cameras. If you want to see the film simulation that I plan to use with this camera, Reggie's Portra, check out this video right here. That's what I plan to use on this camera because it works on any of these sensors.